there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. I'm joined by the lovely Miss Mocha Angel.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Insecure, Season 5, Episode 10, Everything Gonna Be Okay, review. Okay, that's about all the smiling I could probably do. Oh my God. Oh, look, okay. Y'all know I've been kind of nice this whole season, and you know, Miss Mocha Angel wasn't with us because, you know, she's molding young minds.
I was working too hard.
Yes, and she probably would have had a lot to say, and she has a lot to say today.
I saved it up for today.
Well, I tell you what. Let's just go over the basic episode.
Go ahead.
First.
Okay.
I mean, and just real quick, because it's one of those things, it's the ending of the series and everything. And, you know, as an ending of a series,
I wanted to love it. I wanted to love it so much.
and, you know, we got a real conversation coming up. So this is going to be, I'm going to just go real quick over what happened and everything. First, Nathan broke up with Issa.
Thank God. Okay, that was the only moment that I clapped. I said, save yourself, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
But hold up, though. Hold up. Let me be, you know, the, you know, big bad guy's advocate.
Okay.
I thought that was supposed to be a couple. I thought they were right together.
No, you didn't. You didn't. You really thought that?
No.
Really?
No, but I'm setting you up.
Oh, no, they weren't right together at all. No. Mm-mm.
Nah, and that's the whole thing. What was the term you used for him?
Oh, booty call.
Yeah.
Friends with benefits at the most. Friends with benefits. Because they did have a history. Friends with benefits, nothing more.
All right. And one thing I liked about it, because it happened right after last week's episode when he had that fight, he said, I can't do this anymore. This is too toxic. I was like, my man. He just called her, and she wasn't fighting too hard for it. She was just like, boom. But you know, she wasn't feeling him. And telling him she, you know, just saying casually, I love you and all of that. That was a booty call. But one of the things with it, though, it kind of went forward, and it was all based around their birthdays. Like the first one was Molly's birthday, and what you think about Kelly introducing Desmond?
Who the hell is Desmond?
Yeah, I got something to say about Desmond later on. But this is her guy. Now, she go 5 seasons getting like bottom of the barrel type of guys, gamesmen for people who follow me. All of a sudden, she got this tall brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Good for her.
No, I got something to say about him later.
Okay.
And then, you know, they had, you know, that thing. It was Molly's birthday party. And I think they said Torian's parents were there.
Yeah, Torian's parents were there. Her family was there. And that was good. That was really good. I love the look she gave her mom. It was very touching. Birthday party, solid. Yes.
Yes. So they moved forward again. Surprise party for Issa at Crenshaw's place. And, you know, I like, you know, y'all ladies, y'all know how y'all be talking about men.
Yes, I know how we talk about men.
Talking about, you know, he looks pipey.
I've never heard that word, but okay.
And talking about some bow-legged action.
Right.
Yeah, I know what that's about and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, you know, because she, you know, they trying to hook her up with new guys and everything. And, you know, I got something to say about that.
Yes, and I do too.
Uh-oh. She about to break into her paperwork. But then one good thing about it, Nathan came and kind of made peace with her and everything.
Right, because they had a history.
And that's the main thing. That is the main... That's the main piece right there and stuff. Yeah, so he made peace and everything, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I kind of like how they did that relationship. It made sense.
The way it ended.
Yes. It was, you know, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Correct.
Not so much about Lawrence, but Miss Mocha is going to get into that.
Ciao.
But then, okay, next birthday, Tiffany's in Denver. She don't like Denver, you know, and, you know, Issa is in the kitchen with Molly and everything. And she see a pic of Lawrence with his child, and she's thinking something. And I'm gonna tell you what, one scene that moved me, she got that call, Molly got that call from her brother.
Right.
And the way she broke down, I was like, man, that is good. I felt something there.
I
You know,
agree.
she's out there having fun. She hear her mother pass away. That was tough. That was tough. But we got to move forward. Next birthday, Lawrence's birthday. He's sitting at home chilling with his doing a video call with his father and his mother, which, quite frankly, we should have saw more of in these 5 seasons.
Agree.
But Miss Mocha is going to talk about that too. She typed up some stuff. I'll just be writing stuff.
It's right here.
She be, oh my goodness. But then, you know, while he about to go out, Issa calls him. She thought she was going to leave a message. She picked up and they were talking. She offered to take him up and he's like, well, I'm going to go to class. I'm going to go to class and everything tonight. He was like, going to class on your birthday? Turned out he's going out with his current girlfriend.
Right.
You know, he didn't look too happy and all of that. I got something to say about that later on. All right, next birthday, Kelly's birthday. Kelly shows up with Nasir, a Daniel clone.
Why?
Yes, why? You know, let me just
I
stop
thought it was Daniel for a second.
I did
Ain't gonna
too.
lie.
I thought, damn, she should get back with Daniel. Did they have him grow his hair out, fix it funky? Or he lost a little bit of weight, just a tiny bit of weight. I was like, wait a minute. You know, that's some deep stuff right there. She even made a joke about that.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, you look kind of familiar. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, and of course, Kelly announces she's pregnant.
Why? But that's okay. That's okay. Good for her.
You know what? I don't know. And then, you know, Issa and Nasir are at her place. They about to make love. And, you know, of course, Lawrence calls. And she's like, I'm like, okay.
Answer the phone.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But she didn't.
Well, you know, Daniel clone was about to, like, do her.
Child, whatever.
All right. Then the next one, Molly's birthday again. And of course, they speaking by phone. And she had moved into a new office. You know, her business is taking off.
Right.
And then also, while they talking on the phone, Molly's at her office. Kelly comes in. She's working at the office now.
Right.
You know, we
Like
seen
she had
more.
asked her. Yeah.
We seen more growth with Kelly in one episode than we seen in 5 seasons.
She got her props, thank God. I'll hold off on that. But that was good. That was good.
Yeah, but then Lawrence comes by the office.
Go ahead and say it. Just say it.
All right, so they talking all of a sudden. They slobbing each other down.
Well, it wasn't all of a sudden. She said she was afraid to move forward, and it was a double entendre. She was talking about her job and her career and him at the same time. And he picked up on that. So it was both. She was referring to both. And then they got back together, y'all. Okay? That's what he's trying to say. Okay?
I'm like, wait a minute. Where'd that come from?
We're going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, you know, then the next thing, Molly and Torian's wedding and everything, which, you know, everybody saw that they belonged together, but they could have built that up, maybe starting when it's that time, from the moment she went into that black firm. They could have been having a tension, like Max and...
Like Max and Kyle.
Thank you.
Maxine and Kyle.
I felt bad. I had a brain fart because Kyle Barker was the man.
Yeah. So yes, from the beginning, you knew Maxine and Kyle were meant to be together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And see, that's the thing, though. Okay, so we had the happy wedding and everything. Lawrence and Issa, they still together. And then Lawrence, you know, Issa and Molly, they have a moment. And,
that was good.
I said that's good, but still, Lawrence and
Issa.
All right, so anyway, let's get to the end. Y'all know we're going through this quick show part.
Yeah.
All right, so Issa leaves her office. She drives by the old spots. We see Thug Yoda and his daughter by the dunes. She sees that white girl. What was her name?
I can't remember, child.
And we don't need to. You know? That she used to work with at that place. We got y'all. Okay, that's cool. She drive by that Rite Aid. And this is interesting. She saw a tall brother wearing a shirt from that electronics store that Lawrence worked at. And I guess that was like, homage to the first season. Oh, that's cute. Then they go to, was that an apartment or a house?
I couldn't tell. I had to see it again.
It was a big ass.
It was clear. It was big.
It was nice. It was nice. A brother like me walking in, it's like, oh, this real nice.
It's real nice, Eddie. This is real nice.
Oh, man. Hey, you ready to go? No, let me just chill out.
Right. Like, that was a tour. Like, we need a tour of that place. Okay, not of the block. But that's cool.
Exactly. So, Lawrence and Elijah are there. And I assume
that was nice.
Issa and Lawrence were living there.
Yes.
And then they kind of flashed her engagement ring.
That's what I thought it was too. That's what I took it as, an engagement ring. That's how I took it. Okay.
Yeah, because she was kind of like, dude, she raised her hand to her face, and you saw it. And then her and Molly talking about phone. Plus, they said something about, Issa like experiencing what Molly was experiencing with Torian. And Torian, he broke her pussy.
Right, that was not. See, now that was funny. That was a total homage to the first episode of the first season. Now that was cool too.
Yes.
I could get with that.
And overall, I'm gonna tell you what. This is Rom's view of it, because Miss Mocha Angel might be on here for a while. So let me get out what I gotta say. It was just kind of too rushed. It kind of reminded me. I hate to use this example, but it kind of matches Good Times back in the day.
Okay.
Like, they pour up into the last episode, then all of a sudden they moving on up.
Right.
But how come they didn't get I guess they didn't give the Jeffersons that type of episode because they were already there.
Well, no, but like what was going on behind the scenes, the Jeffersons got canceled. Like suddenly. They didn't know. So they didn't really get a send off.
Oh, okay, bad.
That's what happened.
Bad. Those Bamas. Anyway, so I'm gonna tell you what. It was all right, end of the season, everything, except Lawrence getting with Issa. Where did that come from? I'll let Miss Mocha Angel talk about this because we were still talking, behind scenes. She had a lot to say.
I have a lot to say, and I really am going to try not to be here for like 30 minutes, but I might be. I do have a lot to say. So let me just say this. Everything that I'm going to say is from a writer's point of view. I am a writer. I teach this stuff. I've studied this stuff for years, okay? So that's my perspective. Insecure at its heart is a love story between Molly and Issa. As a love story between these two women, it totally worked. 100% from beginning to end. I may have some quibbles about the way season 4 ended and the way season 5 began as far as they were concerned. I didn't think there was enough. They didn't show like them working out their problems. Because I feel like if you spend an entire season watching the decline of a relationship, but then you don't see them resolve it, I had a little bit issues with that. I wanted to see like them resolve their issues, but that's okay. But as a love story, it worked. We were rooting for these women to stay friends and be BFFs for the rest of their lives. We got that. Insecure is also a love letter to South Central Los Angeles. Totally worked. 100%. You could just tell that Issa Rae poured her heart and soul, into showcasing South Central LA and the love that she has for it. A+, okay? We there. Issa and Lawrence, woo, child, I'm sorry, but I hate to say it, but it just fell flat. It just fell flat for me. So that's what I wanted to lead with. Okay, so first of all, let me talk about what did work in season 5, okay? So first of all, let me talk about what the number one thing. What was the number one scene out of 10 episodes that everybody talked about? There was one.
Oh, it was the one I went off on when him and Condola got into it. I was fired up. Everybody's like, dang, Uncle Rom, you fired up, but I felt it though.
I know you felt it. I know you felt it. Okay. And what was it that they were arguing about?
Or just the child, just how much time they would spend together.
Okay.
With the child, mainly with Elijah, and not so much with her.
Okay. And so the baby is what bonded them.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the principle of bonding in a little bit. Okay, there's also a problem when the number one scene that everybody talks about in a season happens between Lawrence and another woman.
That's a big problem.
That's a problem. You should be talking about what happened between either Molly and Issa or Issa and Lawrence. Period. Those are the leads of the show. Condola is not a lead. Okay, that's the issue. All right, so what worked in season 5? Molly and Torian. Oh my God. Yes, we just needed more. I just wanted to see that brother more. He was hilarious. They had chemistry. It all worked. Okay, and it was rushed.
It really was, because remember what I told you? Torian was the first man on that show I really felt a connection to.
Right.
It's like, oh, I can relate to Torian. He's, you know, you could tell he's kind of from around the way.
Correct.
And they could have showed that at first, but then, you know, he just made partner in a law firm. They were talking. That was part of the big thing with him. So I mean, he starts at the bottom and kind of went to the top. So that's even a great backstory. If they brought him in and just had, I don't know, 15 minutes of a backstory for him, like, oh, where he came from, he talked about it, or seen like one of his buddies from around the way or something. That would have made something. Like, say they had more Torian and Molly, and they just hanging out somewhere, and he see one of his boys, but his boys is like a straight thug. That would have been an interesting, like, you know, that would have been an interesting image right there.
Yes.
But, you know, they just bring him in, and it's kind of like they showed him before, but, you know, they only showed him one-dimensionally. They didn't show him totally. And even from what they showed, they could have showed more.
Agreed.
So, but I mean, from what we saw, they were the perfect match.
Absolutely.
They were that was her match.
A+.
Yes.
Okay. Kelly worked. We just needed more Kelly. Okay. Everything about Kelly was fabulous. Okay. Okay, that whole thing about Molly's mom having a stroke, they set that up in season 4 because Molly was on her parents' case about planning their estate, and they just kept putting it off. And her dad explained it, where he just said, you know, I worked for 50 years and I feel like I don't have anything to leave my children. So it was on point, and I'm sorry she passed away. I can relate. I mean, that's rough, but that was a very good storyline. Okay, I was on that. Issa had her character arc. She went from insecure to confident. Molly had her character arc. You know, she was pretty obnoxious. I mean, I say that with love, but she was kind of obnoxious. And now she's just more, she's more joyous. She's more confident, like genuinely confident. She's kind, and she's dropped her defenses. Okay, that's what worked in season 5. Okay. Lord have mercy, Lawrence. This is what did not work for me. Lawrence was boring. Okay. And from a writer's point of view, that's the worst thing you can do for a character, is have him be boring. He did not get a character arc. He sure as hell didn't get enough screen time in season 5. Lawrence should have been in every episode.
And I thoroughly agree with that, because then if he was in every episode, them getting together at the end, you would have been like, okay. You could have rooted for him, but it's almost like you see her spending more time with Nathan and stuff, but then, you know, of course, people are like, nah, that ain't gonna really work. Well, some people say they would have made a better couple than Lawrence and Issa, which I personally believe too. Yeah, I know. We have a respectful disagreement on that, and that's cool. But that's cool. We respect each other's position. We'll get into that. But, you know, you didn't see Lawrence. You should have saw Lawrence more.
Help me, yes.
He should have been in every episode. There should have been some tension or something.
Absolutely.
And 100%. even them getting together. Let me go a little deeper.
Okay.
It's always, you know, you kind of wonder just from their history. She cheated on him. She cheated on him. He was trying to remain low. Okay, they broke up over that.
Right.
Then they get, you know, there's some, you know, some back and forth, but then they get back together again.
Right.
Okay, even though he had a child on the way with another woman, he was still trying to work it out with her. She kicked him to the curb, you know? Yes. It just, then it's like the whole image of him, well, he's still going to stick with it. I say, damn, she cheated on you once.
Right, there you go.
She kicked you to the curb again. What else?
Hello.
And see, here's one problem I had, and this is with the whole character of Issa. I don't recall her ever saying, you know what, I'm really sorry.
Oh.
I don't recall her ever saying that. It's all about her, all this stuff, and just say, you know what, I messed up and all that. Maybe she did, and I glossed over it. But it was always a feeling like no matter what she did, she still get the man she ultimately wants at the end. I'm like, damn, there's no consequence for that.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's a real issue. And then, actually, they could have solved that.
Absolutely.
They could have solved that easily just by having them in every episode, and then they work through it, because there's a situation where all that could happen. But because he just realized she's the best for him, you know, he still forgives. He forgives. He went through stuff. It's like he's just right. But all of a sudden, you know, I can't really function without you, just out of the blue. I'm like, come on.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Have him in every episode. Even, what was it, season 3, when he wasn't around at first, it was kind of like, where's Lawrence?
But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, so Lawrence didn't work, and I will spend more time on why, like what the problem was.
Yes.
And I'm not just hating. There were some serious issues there. Okay, Issa and Nathan did not work for me. Here's the thing: when you are setting up a series where you know, like the man and the woman, okay, the love interests are meant to be together, okay, AKA a love that just can't be denied. All right, you don't give the booty call / other dude / other women a big backstory, because we're trying to be emotionally invested in the two leads. Okay, so way too much time on his backstory. Not the mental health part was good. Okay, the fact that he was bipolar, that's fine, but the whole thing about his cousin, and then like we're like, you know, then we're starting to feel sorry for Nathan and get all emotionally like invested in him. That's not what you want. That's not who he is. He is the guy that's it's not going to work out with, as we saw.
Well, let me add something to that.
Oh.
We really didn't see enough of Lawrence's backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. When we first see him, he's starting off on the couch. We thinking he's just some bum, just not doing anything. We find out he's highly educated, got all this stuff going on. He ain't just as some women who don't like him call him some dusty dude. He had more. What if they just showed what he was doing at first? They talked about it just a tiny bit. Yeah, he went to Georgetown. I think they said he ran track or did something sports-wise. I think. I can't quite remember, but they didn't show enough. And you know what they could have really did? And this might lead to another thing, but I gotta let you finish yours.
Okay.
They should have had the backstory of how they met.
I just wrote that down. I just wrote, how did they meet? Did we ever see how Lawrence and Issa met?
Yeah, we don't know. It's like, well, how they meet to begin with?
Right.
15 minutes or even an episode just to show, okay, how they meet. Then people still might have been like, you know what? They need to be together.
There you go. Because the thing about it is, and okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. They have been together for 5 years, right? When the show opened in season 1. Okay. Now you could have mined that relationship. You got 5 years of history between these two people. We don't know how they met. We don't know how Lawrence got to be so depressed. We don't know enough about this man to be like, yes, y'all are meant to be together. Work that out. Give us the history. Give us the backstory. Give us something to work with. To be like, oh yeah, y'all, it's worth it for y'all to work this out. So yes, okay, but that was good.
Thank you.
And so but real quick about Nathan, the reason why I said he had too much backstory, that leaves the audience confused about who to root for. Okay, like no, you got to be clear on who you're rooting for. But in the end, I'm glad he protected his mental health. And I promise y'all, that was the only scene in that last episode that I clapped for. I literally went like this. Save yourself, brother. Go on, do your thing, okay? What didn't work for me, the men were not developed enough.
No.
Derek.
Please. We don't know anything about Derek.
Who the hell is Derek?
All we see him doing is
Right.
Tiffany like kind of putting him down low key. That's why some people, when they first had that baby, it's like, is that his baby? You know, it's like, wait, who's running what here, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
I ain't see any love between them.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what purpose he served. Okay,
Yeah,
we needed more of him.
Yes,
needed more.
yeah,
Not more, but like more. No, just know who this brother is.
Yes, exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
We already said that about Lawrence.
Okay, Lawrence, Chad. I liked Chad. I would have been nice to see him in that last episode, even for a minute, because like Kelly, he's a truth teller. Okay, that's your friend who's gonna be honest with you. Okay, like, dude, you always let life happen to you. That's what he said to him in the last episode. Okay, in the 9th episode. Okay, Lawrence, and even Tiffany and Kelly. Let me tell you something real quick. I'm a fan of both Amanda Seales and Natasha Rothwell, and both of them to me were just underdeveloped. And Natasha Rothwell, I love, okay? And if you guys haven't seen The White Lotus on HBO, just check her out in that, okay? It's a dramatic role for her. It's not comedic at all. And I felt like in those 10 episodes, that character like was more like, had more depth than even Kelly had. So Natasha Rothwell, I'm rooting for you. Love you. I just wish we had more of you.
Yes.
In Insecure. Okay, and then I alluded to this. We didn't see Molly and Issa work out their problems. So that's what I said earlier was, okay, you spent an entire episode, I don't fucks with Molly no more. Okay, they fell out. It was this big dramatic blowout. And then when you start season 5, it was literally like, well, you know, things are a little weird between me and Molly. And then all she said to her was, are we cool? And I'm like, are we cool? We just spent 10 episodes watching y'all fall out. Give me something. Yeah. So in my mind, how would I have written it? I would have done like a montage. I would have done something where it's like you see them arguing and fighting and just kind of really having it out, because this is a relationship worth saving. Yeah. This is the love story of the show. So give me something watching these women fight for their relationship. And exactly. Lawrence and Issa didn't do that either. So that's what I wanted more of, even at least in that first episode. The whole thing with Stanford, and I know Issa Rae, I think, did she go to Stanford?
I think she did.
I think she went to Stanford. And I understand you giving us, like, because you said it, because I didn't really get all of that. Because you said you giving us, like, how it all started. Like, how Molly and Issa and Kelly and Tiffany all met.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I just feel like when to me, it was a little bit of wasted time a little bit. I would have been fine with a scene of that. Like, oh, we're at our college reunion together. And as an aside, I was totally fine with Tiffany being an AKA. I was totally fine with her wearing the letters, I am an AKA. And when I saw that, I said, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's what I said. I was not like offended by her wearing the colors and the shield and all that. Whatever, okay? It was cool, it made sense. But the way that episode ended with Issa just walking away from Lawrence, I'm gonna just move right into my main thing. That was a huge problem. Yeah. Okay. Let me just go into.
Just jump into it.
Okay.
Because you got the notes.
I got the notes. Okay. Again, I'm coming at this from a writer's point of view. Okay. So let me explain something. Fiction is not real life. Okay. Fiction is the essence of life. All right. So fiction is the most dramatic, the most emotional, the most passionate, the most scary, the most difficult, challenging, amazing parts of life. That's what fiction represents, okay? So we watch fiction. I don't care if you're talking about movies, TV, plays, novels, short stories. I don't care what you're looking at. The whole point is for us as an audience or reader to identify with the characters. Okay. And it's those strong emotions and the strong characterization that gets us to be like, yes, we're rooting for you. Okay. So I just really want to talk about this. Okay. There's three dramatic rules of dramatic writing. Okay. One is inner conflict. There was plenty of that going on with Issa and Molly. Okay. The patterns of dramatic conflict, there's static conflict, jumping conflict, slowly rising conflict. This season, it was way too much kind of static conflict and a lot of things jumped, particularly like at the end. It was too much like leaping to something that didn't get set up. All right. But the biggest principle of dramatic writing is the bonding principle or the crucible. Okay. I'm just going to read this. I don't mean to get all scholarly, but I'm just trying to get to the root of what my issue was with Issa and Lawrence. Okay. So the crucible or the bonding principle is this. Okay, so think of the crucible as the container that holds the characters together as things heats up. The crucible is the bond that keeps them in conflict with one another. Characters who are bonded together will not make a truce in the middle and call it quits. Okay? Issa called it quits at the beginning of the season, and she just walked away from that brother. Okay? So let me give you, before I even say any more, just let me give you some examples of what a crucible is. Ross and Rachel, okay? The thing that bonded them together was really Monica, okay? Because Ross was so in love with Rachel, once Rachel became Monica's roommate, he had an excuse to come see her. Okay, you could say I'm coming to see my sister, but no, he's really coming to see Rachel. Okay, so and this applies not just to like lovers, but just like anybody, like buddy movies, like anything you can think of. Woody and Buzz from Toy Story. The crucible was Andy's room. Okay, that's what kept them together. Maxine and Kyle, Overton and Sinclair. What was the crucible? It was all the fact that they all lived in the same apartment building. Maxine did not live there, but they set her up that Maxine was a moocher. Okay, she was always over there eating their food. Okay, so let me see who else. Leonard and Penny, Big Bang Theory. They lived across the hall from each other. Okay, and Jack and Rose. Now, actually, this is the best example of a crucible. Okay, this is Titanic. The Titanic itself was what bonded them together. They couldn't get off the ship. The ship sank. The ocean was a crucible. And yes, he died in the ocean, but so did, all the people who were in the ocean. It was a crucible. They couldn't go anywhere. All right. The lifeboats, the survivors got on. And then the Carpathia that the survivors were rescued on. Okay. That's all an example of a crucible. But I'm going to give you the example everybody's heard of. If you're like, who are all these people? Dwayne and Whitley. Okay.
Will you?
I will. Okay. Dwayne and Whitley. What bonded Dwayne and Whitley together? Him in college. They went to the same school.
Yeah, there was something there that kept them seeing each other. That's the main thing. When she talks about
Constantly.
the crucible, there's always got to be something that keeps them together.
Absolutely.
Lawrence and Issa, there was really nothing to bond them. Like a few, like, you can't even call them friends, maybe acquaintances. I mean, the best you might say, well, maybe Derek and Tiffany, but how much did they show them? So it's like...
It was too loose.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing to really, he didn't really have any reason to run into it because as Miss Mocha Angel explained to me, the crucible is they got to run into each other no matter what.
All the time.
Constantly.
And like Dwayne and Whitley, not only did they go to school together, but ultimately they lived across the hall from each other. Okay, so Dwayne and Ron were roommates and Jaleesa and Whitley were roommates. So the reason why you do that, think about friends. The reason why you do that is because you raise the sexual tension between those two people and you raise the jealousy level because they're always running into each other, new people that they're dating. Okay, so remember, go back to when, Dwayne was dating Keanu. And all that stuff that Whitley tried to do to come between them. And so it was jealousy, and ultimately he saw her with Byron and they worked on the campaign and all this other stuff. You have to keep the two leads together and you have to give them a reason to keep seeing each other and interacting with each other constantly. Okay. And that did not happen on Insecure.
Yeah, and then for them to get together at the end, it's come like, where'd that come from?
Breathe.
Yes, breathe.
Yeah, so my man... So when was Lawrence gone? Was season 2, season 3? Season 2?
It was the beginning of season 3.
He was gone for half the season?
Yeah, and then, they happened to meet up in some grocery store near that big concert thing, festival thing.
Right, okay. So yeah, that loose band, I call it that loose band of friends. Oh, Issa's going to be at the baby shower. She's going to be at the baby shower. Men don't go to baby showers. I mean, they do, but they really don't.
No,
okay.
We really don't.
Yeah, really.
Let's just be real with it.
Yeah, okay. And then...
We trying to watch the game or something. We let y'all do y'all stuff and, so, yeah. Okay.
That was the main issue that I had. There was nothing bonding them together. So, do you have any ideas, Miss Mocha Angel, about how they could have been bonded? Well, yes, I do. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Share it with us. I mean, hey, why not? Hey, why not? Hey, man, shoot. She been waiting all season to do this. And, go ahead, y'all. Go ahead. I put
a lot of thought into this.
You really did.
Okay, I got 2 ideas for y'all about how Issa and Lawrence could have been bonded better. Okay, this was idea number 1 that I came up with. At the end of season 4, they could have eloped. Okay? Why would I say eloped? She wasn't talking to Molly. Okay? She wouldn't have told her. Okay, she ain't particularly close with her family. We barely see Lawrence's family. So it would have made sense. Hey, we back together, let's elope. Okay, you all happy, you say your vows, and then you in the throes of, honeymoon love, and then you get a call. Oh, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Then that would have been an interesting dynamic right there. Just right there. You got this baby coming from another woman, but you married.
So much more interesting because it would have been more conflict. Okay.
Exactly.
So what did I lead with? What was the big conflict of the season was between Lawrence and Condola, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You would have had so much more of that. Yeah. You would have had more arguments between Lawrence and Issa. You would have had more between him and Condola. You would have had maybe at least one really good one between Condola and Issa.
Yeah.
Okay. AKA, so maybe Lawrence showed up with Issa to get the baby. And then Condola's like, what's she doing here? This is my wife. This is my wife. What's the problem? I tell you what the problem is, but okay, now you got it. Now you got all three of them going at it.
And plus Kiki Palmer, throw her in there. It'd have been straight ghetto then. But it would have been interesting because that's some real life stuff. Because even at the end of the season, you know, Issa's hugging Elijah and everything cool. But I'm just like,
Yeah, so it was kind of weak. There was nothing bonding them together. But here's my other idea. I did not tell you this, okay? I just want to see what you think. So this is idea number 2 I came up with to bond Issa and Lawrence. What if from day 1, from season 1, okay, check this out. What if Molly and Lawrence were brother and sister?
Damn. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Now, that would have been something. That would have been something because she couldn't help it. She couldn't be best friends with Molly without dealing with Lawrence.
There you go.
And that would, and then her breaking up with Lawrence, that would have caused something in their friendship. Oh, snap. You coming with that drama. I see you.
That's what you want.
Oh, man.
That's what you want. And so think about season 5. Think about it. Mom has a stroke. Molly's mom has a stroke. Lawrence would have been at the hospital. Not just Issa happened to run into him and Condola with the baby. He would have been there the whole time.
That would have been a story angle. And that's the thing. Wow. Now, that would have been a crucible right there. Wow.
That's how you keep them bonded.
Wow. That's deep. Man, Issa Rae should have hit her up. Should have hit you up. Shoot. Oh, man. That's good. Oh, man.
Thank
that's
you.
Deep.
Thank
that's
you.
deep.
I thought so too. I really thought about this, y'all. I really did.
No, well, you're a writer. You teach writing. So, you know. Yeah, so, hey, that's a good thing. And it would have been more interesting because the whole season really wasn't, it was kind of like blah.
It was blah. And the thing is, it's a good show.
Yeah.
It has a great legacy. It has done so many things for Black creatives. I mean, and just, I just wanted to love season 5 and I didn't. Okay. So something else was bothering me. We talked about this the other day. It was bothering me that half the audience was not rooting for them to get back together and half of them was. Because I was saying again, this is not real life. This is fiction. And yes, women do love that romantic shit. Will you? I will. And at least I love you. And yeah, we do. We do love that stuff. But when it's set up from the beginning that these two people are meant to be together, and then and a lot of people are like, eh. So I said, what is it? And it hit me. I said, it's because she cheated on him. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. And, you know, fellas, you know, from my point of view, it's like, oh, that's a no-no. Especially he's pushing away Tasha to stay with Issa. It'd have been different if the first time Tasha was throwing it at him, he'd be like, oh, yeah, let's go. Then be like, oh, okay. You know, fair exchange, there's no robbery, even though they were both wrong. But he was trying to be loyal. You got this fine old woman. You know, of course, it led to the back shot heard around the world. But you got this fine old woman, and he's still trying to be right with Issa. That's true.
And then he even met Daniel.
That's true.
And and that's the thing. And, you know, and there was no real forgiveness for that.
Yeah.
You know, just say, yeah, she said some stuff back then, but, you know, it's like, but you went to go see Daniel.
Right, that's true.
And then even to have, in the last episode, you hooking up with this guy who looks like Daniel, I'm like, you know, there's some deeper stuff here. Like, seriously, like, you looking at it, it's like, that's the same actor with a different hairstyle?
Yeah.
He looked too much like him.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. And see, that's why the fellas especially weren't dealing with it. And then, of course, you had the women who weren't feeling Lawrence for whatever.
He was boring.
Well, you said boring, but, how did y'all see him?
No, I'm just, okay, first of all, I was always Team Lawrence. I never hated him. I never said he sucked. No, never. I just felt like he just was kind of there.
Okay.
You know, just doing what a dude does. Okay, fine, I'm gonna be loyal, and then I'm not, and then I'm gonna hook up with this chick who seduced me, and then I'm just gonna sleep with all these women and all this other stuff. And he just kind of seemed like he just was like along for the ride. I think I said last season that he wasn't being decisive. First of all, you know you're having a baby with homegirl, but you're gonna move to San Francisco. I was like, no, you want Issa to come with you, and you just kind of go, hey, what do you want to do? Him and Condola got into that big old fight. So what are we going to do now? I'm like, dude, you are the man. You need to be making decisions. You need to be calling the shots. You need to be like getting these women in check. And I mean that not in an anti-feminist way. That's not what I mean. But I'm saying you're the guy. You're the leader. Make some damn decisions and stick with them. That's what I'm saying.
And that was a problem with his overall character development.
Yeah.
You know, okay, yeah, he can make all this money, but really develop his character, have him grow some on him.
He didn't grow.
Yeah, because
really
you know,
did.
if that was Torian would been like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
This is what we gonna do.
Yeah, even during the final episode, because somebody said something about, you know, them telling, you know, a woman telling him what to do. It's like, no, he was just like, you know, and that's the thing. But grow him. It was almost like Lawrence was an accessory this whole time.
Yeah, and that's not okay. That's not. He was one of the lead characters.
Yeah, he should have developed too in a way.
I totally agree. And the thing is, in writing, what it's called pole to pole. You want your characters to change. Okay.
Yeah.
Issa was the embodiment of insecure. That's why it was called Insecure. Okay. She went from insecure to confident. I said this. Molly, obnoxious to, well, just kind, basically, more compassionate, I would say. Here's the thing. When we met Lawrence, he was depressed, right? Okay, literally in the last, I'm gonna say the second to last and last episode, he really hadn't changed that much. Yes, his financial status had changed. His jobs had changed. Yes, he made more money. He was more affluent. But in that ninth episode, when you say I'm miserable without you, then I'm like, well, then you're still miserable because you were miserable in the first episode of the series. And then in the last episode, you had some kind of random girlfriend. You did your thing, but you were still waiting around for Issa. And when she called, he came running. And I'm like, no, what I wanted to see was more Lawrence. I wanted to see Lawrence in therapy. I wanted to see Lawrence with his parents. I wanted to see Lawrence talking to his boys more. I wanted to see Lawrence really like working through his issues the same way the women did. And I know one of the criticisms guys have, not just of her, you know, cheating on him, but is that like that the men were written differently.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and that was a real issue right there. They could have developed it more. It was more like the men were really secondary. Even with Kelly and Desmond, he didn't look happy at that wedding. I was just like, where did he come from? But he's a big old alpha showpiece. He's a tall dude.
Right.
And he's just, yes. Just like, where'd you find him?
Thank you.
He wasn't like take charge or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, the one character who was kind of more like assertive and everything, they ain't show enough of him, Torian.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay. And that's the overall thing. Now I understand, it's written for the woman's perspective and everything, but it needed to be more balanced. And I think it would have had an even greater impact. Even greater. It's had a great impact, let's just be real.
It has, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
even a greater impact on everything with the more development of men. And we need more balanced shows like that, because we do get a lot of women's shows and everything. And yeah, there's a few men's shows, but they're written by a certain person who made his money wearing a dress. So, you know, I'm like,
But he writes for women too.
yeah, you know.
He does.
So that's the
He
thing.
does.
So we just needed more of that. You know, overall, you know, I would just say it didn't, you know, it kind of fizzled out. They kind of melded in. And that's the thing. And it was even tough doing the reviews this year, because I was like, what? It wasn't like fun like it used to be, because then you had some real characters, some real conflict. Okay, where they going with this? They just kind of melded in. And even the final episode, it's just like, okay, get them all together, but why don't y'all start setting that up? They could have set up Kelly in episode 3 with the dude. You see a little bit. They could have brought out more of Derek and Tiffany. Definitely Torian. They should have set him up when they first introduced him.
Definitely.
And definitely Lawrence, especially Lawrence. Final season, he should have been in every episode. No ifs, ands, and buts. Even if it's popping through for about a couple minutes just to say something. Or, you know, have Issa just look at his picture in one episode, don't say anything, just look at his picture or think about it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, like, back to what you just said about the men being more balanced. When you think about the couples I mentioned, we know Dwayne, we know Whitley, we know Ross, we know Rachel, we know Kyle, we know Maxine. Like, we know these people, we know both of them. You know what I mean? And I just felt like Lawrence was just so blah, and he was too passive.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He was too passive, and as a character, he just wasn't developed.
Yeah.
He really wasn't. And that was a shame because, okay, I'm going to co-sign what you said. Insecure was wonderful. I've seen every single episode of it. I was rooting for everybody on a creative level, just as a viewer, everything about it. I mean, and it was beautiful. Everybody was beautiful, South Central. I mean, everything was just beautiful. The music, the everything, and the love story between these women. And I just felt like season 5 felt rushed. And I don't know if it was because of COVID, because they were filming during the pandemic. They didn't mention it, but they were filming during it. And everything just kind of just felt a little flat because there wasn't enough conflict going on. There just wasn't enough of, I don't know, it just was, something was missing.
Yeah.
And some of those things are the things that I mentioned.
Yes. So, any final words?
Let me check my notes. Oh, God. No, I wrote some stuff about love having a soundtrack. I'm not going to sing. I can sing, but I'm not going to sing for y'all today.
She can sing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, love has a soundtrack. And I didn't hear Lawrence and Issa's soundtrack. I really didn't. I don't know what it would be. And I think that was really it. Okay. Great love story between two Black women. Great love story of South Central Los Angeles. Beautiful show. And because it was beautiful and because it meant so much to so many people, I just wanted more for season 5. That's all it was. Okay. I really did.
And that's fair. That's fair. So, whatever y'all thought about it, let us know in the comments. Be nice, somewhat. But that's it. That's it. I'm gonna start getting some sleep on Sunday nights now. So, anyway, you have any final words to everybody?
No, right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through, Miss Mocha Angel, because I knew you were going to break it down. You could break it down even more. Trust me, she was still holding back. She get into it deep. She break down the story angles and everything. So that's cool. So look, y'all, I want to thank y'all for checking these out. I'll get around to putting all these in a playlist because I'm kind of lazy about those things, and Miss Angel will remind me, I'm sure. Yeah. So anyway, want to thank y'all. So y'all have a good day now. Peace and many blessings.
Bye, y'all.